This is a video that I have been putting off for a really long time. This is gonna be an emotional one. Let me just, let me put it out there. Clearly, I haven't even, it's starting to be summer. I can only wear sweaters for so long and long sleeves for so long. So I'm going to need to start wearing t-shirts and stuff when I'm filming videos and just like in general, but I don't like to because I'm a very animated person. Like, I enjoy talking with my hands. I shouldn't even say I enjoy it. Like, it's just kind of intrinsic and just one of my idiosyncrasies. But when that happens, you see my arms and you see my arms. And I know I don't like looking at them and they're my own arms. And I know it upsets you guys and I like, God, I'm shaking. Like, I don't like talking about this. I know that I'm gonna start to get a lot of questions on it because this is honestly the worst that my dermatillomania has ever been. I mean, I know I've mentioned it before because it's quite obvious when I do pick at my face, which I try my best not to do. You know, at least with my arms I can cover it up with clothes if I have to, but with my face, like, my job is filming myself, you know, and putting makeup on my naked skin, which, I mean, that's, I kind of, you know, wanted to do this video raw and just me, like, this is me in my natural state, you know, except for clothing. Fresh out of the shower, my hair's still a little wet. It'll dry soon, but, you know, no makeup, no nothing. No nothing. And I just feel like it's kind of how I need to be for this video because, I don't know. Dermatillomania, also known as excoriation disorder. Hello. I feel like not a lot of people know about dermatillomania, which I know like isn't the proper term for it anymore. Excoriation disorder is. But I guess I just identify with dermatillomania more because that's just what I've always called it. I feel like a lot of people know about trichotillomania, which is pulling out hair, which thankfully I don't have that as well. You know, one of these disorders is enough for me. Not that you can pick and choose. But a lot of people know about trichotillomania. Dermatillomania is the same-ish type of thing in that it's an obsessive compulsive disorder where you go at yourself, I guess, in a way that others see as harmful, and like, yeah, it actually can be harmful to yourself too. But so trichotillomania, you know, pulling out of hair from your head, your eyebrows, your eyelashes, and hair. Any kind of hair on your body. Dermatillomania is picking at your skin. Picking at it, ripping at it, digging at it. This is dermatillomania at its absolute finest. Like, I know I did this in my depression, anxiety, panic disorder video. I know, you're just learning all of the wonderful, wonderful parts of me. I'll link this website down below and everything, but if you want to get a better understanding of dermatillomania, and also I'm gonna be talking through it with you guys just to get you some like real information or like some more scientific information than just me telling you things. So just like I said earlier, you can see here, like, there's not much awareness about the condition, and those with it often feel embarrassed or ashamed to discuss it. And also the term skin picking does not convey the full extent of its symptoms or that it is a very serious disorder known medically as dermatillomania. People that suffer from dermatillomania exhibit symptoms that include repetitive touching, rubbing, scratching, picking at, and digging into their skin. Some people do it to remove irregularities or perceived imperfections, while others do it obsessively for other reasons. The behaviors associated with dermatillomania often result in the discoloration of skin and eventual scarring. Severe tissue damage can occur, and dermatillomania is classified as a body-focused repetitive behavior, or BFRB. Those are disorders in which a person's behavior has the potential to harm or damage their body and physical appearance. This and other BFRBs often correlate with feelings of anxiety, fear, excitement, and boredom, and when it becomes serious, it impacts the person's work work life and their social and family relationships. The onset of dermatillomania is often with acne as a teenager, and then the acne is scratched and picked at, and even once the acne has vanished, like in my case, the skin is still picked at because you still have that compulsion. Even though grooming of these skin conditions are like normal, dermatillomania is excessively doing these things. So it's disproportionate with the severity of the skin condition. It is pretty surprising that it affects a lot of people worldwide, and there's no set in stone research, but most recent findings suggest that it affects between 2 to 3% of the general population. And they really don't know like an exact cause or anything for dermatillomania, but there apparently is a very strong hereditary link, and it's often a maladaptive behavior associated with poor coping skills, obsessive and compulsive thoughts, too little or too much stimulation, and sometimes abuse. Often dermatillomania is associated with body dysmorphic disorder, and anxiety and depression are also related. So really, dermatillomania can happen anywhere on the body. I mean, usually it's targeted at locations of actual or perceived skin defects, but most patients do have a primary area of the body where they focus all of or the majority of their picking. Some people pick as little as a few times per day without even noticing it. Others spend hours upon hours picking at individual areas, and it's almost always done with the fingernails. But in some cases, tweezers and other tools are used, and it gets really dangerous when infections can occur, which is the most prevalent. You can also get tissue damage, and also some cases are severe enough to warrant skin grafting. Unfortunately, there really aren't that many effective treatments for the disorder. The current treatments are pharmacological therapy and behavioral therapy, but most people don't seek treatment for the disorder. And I mean, all of that stuff, at least for me, is definitely true. I mean, even just sitting here reading this stuff, I was picking. Like, I'm stressed out right now. This is a thing that should be more talked about, but like, I'm so embarrassed and just like overwhelmed, I guess, knowing that thousands of people are gonna be watching this, and like, you know, it's embarrassing. Like, why do I have to do this to myself? I mean, I guess like as far back as I can remember, this started probably when I was like, I don't know, 5, 7, 8. I mean, I was young, and the first time I can specifically remember, I didn't used to pick at my skin like I do now. I did, just not in the same way. I used to go at my fingers, like around the nail bed and on these parts of the digits, I guess, the creasy parts underneath. I used to, like, and I still do, I shouldn't even say used to, but it's a lot more managed now. I now go for this, which is so much better, but I bite the skin around my nails. Like, you know, some people bite their fingernails, I bite the skin around my nails, and it doesn't hurt me. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's just, I would bite it off, and I remember it would always be so embarrassing. Like, I mean, first off, it's just not cute to like watch someone biting off their fingers, and second off, like anytime you would go swimming or like your hands would get wet and wrinkled, you could really see it. You know, sometimes you would go so deep and you would be bleeding and it was painful. And I just remember I was camping with my dad and my brother, and I don't know if I was biting at my fingers or if my hands had gotten wet, and so my dad just noticed, but I so clearly remember him like sitting me down and telling me like, Cassie, like, and he wasn't doing this meanly, but like, Cassie, that's gross, like you need to stop doing that. But I never did, and I couldn't. For me, I don't know, it's all very different. Like, I feel like if I do ever pick at my fingers anymore, it's probably more of like a comfort type thing, you know, because I did do it when I was really little. But when it comes to picking at my face and my body, it's also quite different. My face is very different from my body. The reasons that I pick at it, when I pick at my face, it's not mindless picking at my face. Like, it's very much intentional, because somewhere in my brain I think that if I pick at a pimple or if I pick off the scab, that it's going to be easier for me to cover with makeup. And in some cases it's true. You know, covering up a smooth surface, even if it is all red, is a lot easier than covering up a scab, which is kind of raised and crusty and whatever. So stuff on my face, like, I really do it thinking that, okay, I'm gonna make this better, like it's gonna be easier to cover and it's gonna heal quicker. That is not true. Like, but something in my head tells me, like, if I just pick this, it'll go away quicker. On my arms and things, it's more stress relief, I guess. Like, it really is more if I'm feeling overwhelmed or if I like need to take a deep breath. I feel my skin, and if I feel anything, like even the tiniest little bump, I'm gonna pick at it. Even if there's really nothing there, like I will keep digging until I find something. And that's when they get really big and when they leave like the really big scars. I don't know why it brings me such a big sense of relief, but it does. Like, I think that's the hardest thing for me. I'm sure people see this type of thing and they're like, oh my gosh, like, why do you hurt yourself like that? That must be so painful, this, that, and the other thing. And like, for the most part, it's really not. Like, it might be a little prick or something, but like, for me anyways, I like go into a trance kind of, like when I'm going at my arm or something, like it just allows me to like zone out, and it's very peaceful, which is like, I feel like it's so sick and twisted for me to sit here and say that, because I feel like people without the disorder like don't understand that at all. It looks really gruesome, but like it feels good to us. Like, it's relieving, at least for the time being. But then of course, you know, like people having to see this in public, like it's so stressful, you know? Like, I don't like showing my arms in public or in videos, and that's why whenever I'm like saying, oh, it's really hot, or like, oh, I'm so sweaty, blah blah blah, in a video, people are like, well, yeah, why are you wearing a sweater when it's like 80 degrees out? Because I don't want to talk about my arms. I don't want to show people my arms. So it really is just like this vicious cycle, because then, you know, you get so stressed out, like, oh my gosh, people are looking at my scabs and my scars, and like people are wondering things and people are judging me, and then you're even more stressed out, and so then you want that relief, and so then you pick more, and it just over and over and over and over again. Picking for me, it's like, it can be anywhere from 5 seconds, or it can be anywhere to like a half an hour, I don't know, like I don't time myself, but I do know that sometimes in the morning or like getting ready or something, like I'll go to just pick one on my face, and then, you know, the next thing I know, I'm like, oh my, like I have to leave already, and I haven't even put on any makeup, I haven't done my hair, like I haven't gotten dressed yet, but like half an hour has gone by, 45 minutes have gone by, and now I'm running late. You're not thinking about anything else. And like I said before, I know it sounds sick, but it's really peaceful. But like having all of this crap all over my arms and other places on my body, like it's not just my arms and my face. It's kind of migrated with time. I feel like it started out in like high school, middle school type thing. I had really bad acne on my chest, and so my chest, I mean, in some photos where I would be wearing a lower cut shirt like this or something, I mean, not like showing cleavage, but like you could see my skin, it's just riddled. I mean, what my arms look like, my chest looked like, and it was so embarrassing. And so I decided to move from there to my shoulders and my back, because then at least, you know, I'm always going to be wearing a shirt, like that'll be covered up, but then, you know, it would be swimsuit season and we'd go to the beach, and it's like, you know, I can't win. Like I can't win. Now I still do pick at my shoulders. I mean, like you can see. Thankfully, like this is mostly just scarring that you can see, but like there are a few spots where I picked at last night. And I've also started moving to my thighs to try and get away from my arms, but like it just, no place is a good place. And unfortunately, no place is a safe place for me. Like, somewhere on my body, no matter where it is I'm picking, it's gonna get seen at some point. And I hate that. I really, really hate that. People look at me and see my skin, they think I'm diseased. Like, they literally think it's something along the lines of like leprosy, or I've been told, you know, it looks like I have fleas or something. It's just, it's so hurtful to hear that, because it's like so emotionally painful and stressful for me. I mean, like I said before, it just ends up leading to more picking, And then the actual scabs and stuff, I mean, like, they get sore because you've picked at them for the past week. The scabs get itchy, they get dry, and you just end up wanting to pick more, and blood gets everywhere. Oh my gosh, you guys, like, it's so embarrassing, you know? I've got so many nightshirts, or like even on my bed sheets, like there'll just be spots, like little tiny spots, either on the arms, on the shoulders, like on the back area, or like on my pillowcase, and there's just little specks of blood. Like, like I feel like growing up when I did have really bad like acne on my face, all I wanted was clear skin. And then I thought, you know, that would fix it. Like, I'm not gonna pick anymore if I have clear skin. And now it's like I have clear skin for the most part on my face anyways. But then, you know, like I'll be on my period and I'll get like a couple spots like I have now because I'm on my period. And then I'll just be like, okay, well, it's just one spot, you know, like I'm just gonna, it's just one. So like I can pick at it now. Like it's a validation type of thing, and then that leads into that picking spot, and then that leads into, well, where else do I have any spots I can pick at? And then I pick at my arms more, and then I'm right back where I started. Like, even though I don't have acne anymore, I almost feel like it's worse because now I have this crap. Like, it just ends up being this really tiring infinite cycle. I wish I had some sort of a solution to share, but like obviously I don't. Like, it's still very much a daily struggle for me that I'm going through, and that I have been going through for what, the past like at least 15 years now. The only thing that helps me is wearing long sleeves, because then, you know, if I wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, if I like glance down and see my arms, I'm just seeing my shirt sleeve. Like, I'm not looking down and seeing, oh, there's a couple things I can pick at, like let me just do that real quick and then go back to bed. Or even during the day, or like even when I'm sitting here, because it's that compulsive like touching of yourself. I like feel my skin, and if I feel a little bump, I just like pick at it with my thumb, or like whatever, you know? Like, I try my best to wear clothes all the time, I guess. And it's hard, like, especially when it's starting to get hot out, you know? I'm a very hot-natured person anyways. Like, I get hot very easily, so wearing long sleeves and pants and everything, it's not always a very comfortable option, I guess I can say. I hate having to explain this to people because it doesn't make sense. And when I try to explain it to people, I feel like people just still look at me and they're like, I don't get it. So for me, a lot of the times, you know, I will just say something simple like, oh, I have acne, or oh, I scar really easily, like that's all. And like, these things are true. Like, I scar very easily, and like, it sucks. It sucks so bad. I don't think she does it to the same extent, but like my mom does this too, and she has like no scars anywhere. Like, I'm so jealous. Being someone who lives also with depression and anxiety and panic disorder, those things at least are easier to cover up. I mean, I shouldn't say that, but like, you know, it is more of a mental disorder, those things. And like, this is a mental disorder too, but like, it leaves physical scars. And so like with depression and stuff, I don't have to explain it to everybody, you know? Like, I'm not gonna sit down and film a video and people are gonna be like, oh my gosh, like I can tell you're depressed, blah, 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 like tell me things. Like, what's going on? What is that? I can just like put on a smile and crack some jokes and, you know, whatever, everything's hunky-dory. But with this stuff, like, I have physical scars, and so people see it and then they're like, oh my gosh, like what is wrong with you? What is that all over your arms? It sucks having to suffer from a mental illness like this, where it does leave the physical scarring because it makes your mental disorder known. And especially with these types of disorders, it's like, that is the last thing you want. You want to not talk about it ever, at all. Like, even to get help, you don't want to talk about it. You just don't. It's something that I have to talk about. And like, I don't have to talk about it, you know, but like, people are curious and inquisitive by nature, and people want to know, like, you look different, tell me why, type of a thing, you know? It's basically like having the flu and having to wear your vomit and your snot on your clothes. You can't just vomit into the toilet and flush it down. You have to wear it. You didn't ask for the flu, you're upset that you got the flu, you feel like crap because you have the flu, but you still have to go out into public sometimes because, oh, you ran out of Kleenex, or you can only take so many days off of work, or you can only miss so many school classes and whatnot before you fall terribly behind, or before a teacher will kick you out or whatever. And so you have to go to class wearing your vomit and snot infested sweater. Even though you're trying to cover it up, people can still see that you've got puke on your pants and snot on your sleeves. And then it makes other people uncomfortable because they don't understand it and they see it and they think it's gross and then they think they're gonna catch it. So like, I hope that makes a little bit more sense. Like, I don't want people to have to smell my vomit and get stuck to my snot, but like, I can't just get rid of my body. Like, this is what I have and I'm trying my best to work with it. Like, while I understand why people are inquisitive about it, you know, like people just want to know, are you okay, this and that, it's also in this day and age where people think that voicing their opinion is more important than someone else's feelings. Because like nowadays, you know, everyone's favorite thing to say is freedom of speech though. No. No! Like, yes, you're allowed to freedom of speech, obviously. But you're also allowed to be a decent human being and have some goddamn respect and compassion and kindness for another human being. Is your opinion really so much more important than the feelings of another individual in a situation like this? No. No, it's not. You saying things like that to anybody with any kind of a condition, it does not make them better and it does not make them want to better themselves. It makes them hate themselves and it makes people fall into their disorder even more. Like, I can't think of one person where it was like, yeah, the reason why I was able to stop my skin picking was because one person told me once that I was absolutely vomit inducing and that they couldn't even look at me without getting nauseous. It just totally changed my life when they said that for the better. Never. Never have you ever heard anyone say that. The reason why I'm really fit and really healthy and amazing and I'm going to the Olympics next year, it's because someone called me an overweight, obese, beached whale, and they told me that I should go dig my own grave in my backyard and lay in it and then rebury myself and then suffer in there. Like, not just die in there, but definitely make sure you suffer a little because you're disgusting and fat and obese. But like, that totally motivated me and now I'm going to the Olympics. Like, I'm so healthy now. Never did that ever happen. Your opinion in those situations is not important. And it's not important enough to voice. In fact, it's important that you don't voice those opinions because it's sick. It's really sick that you could say that to another person, like whether it is to a person's face or whether it is behind the anonymity of the internet. It's sick and you have a problem yourself and you need to get help too. But like, that rant aside, it's so weird to me because like when I look at myself and I see my scars, I'm so grossed out. Like, I'm so upset. But when I see someone else with scars, like whether they be scars like this, whether it be like really cystic acne, whether it be, you know, they've got a huge scar down their chest because they had open heart surgery, or like any kind of a scar or imperfection, you know? I shouldn't even call it in quotes, like it is an imperfection. That doesn't mean that it's not beautiful. Like, I actually do, when I look at people with scars and things like that, like, I don't look at them and think, ew, like that's really unattractive. Usually I look at those things and I'm like, that makes them really beautiful. Like, I'm gonna start crying again because so many of you tell me that you suffer with things like this, and I'll look at your profile picture, or like I'll go creep on you on Instagram or like whatever the case may be, and you had said, you know, you've got such awful acne and like you can't even look at yourself, and like I'll go onto your page to like see, you know, and I'll look at you and I'll say, yeah, you do have really bad acne, but like you're so much more than your acne. Like, I can tell, and it doesn't make it ugly. Like, your acne isn't ugly and you're not ugly because you have acne. And that's not me just trying to like make myself feel better. Like, I honestly genuinely feel that way. When I was in grad school or even undergraduate and we would get to do nude studies and like draw people naked or paint people naked, I was always so excited when we would get like the wrinkly fat old guy, or like the woman with really imperfect like droopy boobs and a large fupa. Those were the people that I would get really excited to draw and paint, because those are the bodies that I like to look at. There's something about not being perfect that I personally find really intrinsically beautiful. Like, it's so much more interesting and there's so much more character there. For me, when I see those people, I don't know why I can't translate that back. I am far from perfect, obviously, but I can't see my own imperfections as things that others would look at and think positively about. You know, I see my own imperfections and I'm like, oh my god, someone's gonna hate that, I need to cover it, like, blah blah blah. And like, while not everybody is going to see imperfections in a good light, that's okay. You don't need those people in your life. And the percentage of people that will think that your imperfections are beautiful and a wonderful part of your character, those people so far outweigh the other group of people. But I understand how hard it is, you know, like that whole dysmorphic view of our own bodies. It's so crippling and it sucks. Like, I don't know how else to say it other than it really sucks. And I understand, but at the same time, I want you to understand that people do see you as beautiful, regardless of whatever imperfections you have. There are people out there that aren't gonna sit next to you and think, oh my god, gross, I'm gonna catch whatever nasty acne picking whatever thing that they have. Like, there are people that don't give a fuck. Those are the people you should keep in your life. Those are the people that you need to seek out, and those are the people that you need to hold on to with your scabby little arms. So just try and remember that. Cassie of the future editing this video or watching this video, try and remember that. You are more than what is on your surface. You are so much more than the scars that you have to carry. You are a soul with interests and hobbies and passions, and that is the stuff that we as a society and as a group of living beings need to focus on and hone in on. You know, like, we need to stop looking at people and just doing these overall base surface judgments and then completely writing a person off or making assumptions about their life. You know, there's so much more to human beings than what their skin looks like, what their body looks like. You know, there are obviously going to be some outliers here, but for the most part, the people that we remember are the people that did things. You know, like, good or bad, but like, those are the people that we remember. We remember the people based on their actions, based on their words. People don't write history books because someone was pretty. You don't get put into the history book because you had the best hair. You know, like, you get put into the history book because you were the person that ended slavery. You get put in the history book because you were the first person to stand up for women. Like, you get put in the history book because you were the first person to invent an automobile. You were put in the history book because you were able to go and walk on the moon. You know, you did not get put in the history book because you have very shiny, long, blonde hair. You did not get put in the history book because you had perfectly smooth skin. That's not a thing. And we need to remember that. I need to remember that. For the most part, people are not remembered for how they looked on the outside. People are remembered for how they looked at the world. So, on that very, very poignant note, I think I'm gonna close. I've been talking long enough. I hope this video was helpful or whatever to somebody. I really don't know how to end these kind of videos other than saying I love you guys. You are awesome, and for the most part you all are so supportive, and I know so many of you wanted me to make this video, so if this can even help one person out there, it was worth showing you my scars and talking about them. I just hope in the future it can you know, make some people understand when I'm doing a haul video or something, like, oh my gosh, like what is all over her arms? Like, Cassie, are you okay? Like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm just going through some stuff and I scar really easily. So I'm gonna go do some cross stitch because that's one thing that I do to keep my hands away from my skin, is to always keep my hands busy or as busy as possible. So I'm gonna go and do some cross stitch some nostalgic Pokemon. And like I said, I just really hope that this video was helpful to even one of you out there. Either cope if you have the same or a similar condition, or even if it was just helpful to help you understand why someone might have dermatillomania, or understand what they're going through and help you to be able to be a bit more sympathetic, because I'd rather you weren't able to be empathetic. I would not wish this on anybody, but we gotta stay strong together, and I'm here for you anytime. I just really, when I do sign off my videos and I say that I hope you guys are all doing well, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. So thank you guys for watching. As always, I hope you guys are all doing well, and until next time, please do stay well until then. Bye!